Despite a couple of influencers last year saying that Warhammer 40K was going to be backing off the femstodes, they are seeping into everything. Now, you got to remember how development cycles work for games, for books, and the like. It takes a year or two to come out with things. So when they start rolling something out, like they did with the Adeptus Custodes Codex last year, where they just inserted a little bit of fiction into that just to see what the response would be, they got overwhelming publicity about it, and so they continued forward with it because SJWs always double down in everything. So we know what this means, and we know what's going to come. I'm going to tell you the end result as we talk about yet another female Adeptus Custode being implanted into things. This one is a knockoff of the Tithe show, and they're trying to put this into this mobile game. Now, I don't know how many of you are actually playing Tacticus here. It is a turn-based mobile game, as you can see. And, I actually like games like this. I was a big Final Fantasy Tactics player back in the day. But this is just a no-go immediately if they're going to just violate the lore and, of course, do this type of thing with it and then make excuses because they have reacted to players getting annoyed by this. And you'll see the reaction. It's very corporate. It's very nonsensical. And this is what we have to deal with in everything in culture these days. And I'm glad you guys are here. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things Warhammer 40K and science fiction. This is your real science fiction news. I am a sci-fi author myself. My name's John Delarose. This is my Valiant Frontiers. It is a trilogy of books that brings sci-fi back to its classic state. Now, Warhammer 40K lifts a lot of stuff from a lot of influences. Robert Heinlein, some of the classics in the Golden and Silver Age, Paul Anderson. There's a lot of stuff that's thrown into there. Obviously, there's a lot of Tolkien in space also. But I remember those days, and I think that really science fiction has gone off the rails the last 40, 50 years. And I'm trying to bring it back to what it was in the 60s and the 70s and before, when there was really like a sense of wonder and a sense of exploring strange new worlds. And so if that resonates with you and you're interested in some good sci-fi, support our channel. This trilogy is done. It's in the description below. We've got a beautiful crowdfund going for it, and I appreciate you guys for the support. Thanks for grabbing this. Get this today. And thanks again, everybody who supported our books over the years. So, it seems the push of the female Adeptus Custodes is now going across all media, with the Black Library official canon novel introducing a female custode into the lore. The avalanche has begun. Gamers found out that Warhammer 40K Tacticus, a turn-based strategy game, included the female custode, and the developer now has replied decision. For the background on this, just for the people who are new to what's going on with Warhammer 40K, they changed the lore last year. In April 2024, they came out with a new Adeptus Custodes Codex for the new edition. The new edition's crap by itself, and they actually had this whole little fiction here about a female Adeptus Custode, and that got noticed and went viral on the internet, much to the chagrin of Games Workshop. They replied to fans, and instead of just owning it, like, hey, we changed things or whatever, they pretended it always went this way. Since the first 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodians. You can see this was a complete lie, because in the original version, these men never leave Earth and rarely leave the Imperial Palace. So they changed it. They actually altered the official Warhammer 40K wiki as well to pretend it was never there. It got the reference got deleted. It was a total just gaslight of the fans. Very, very sad stuff. Now, this went along, and later in the year, they put out a short animated film called The Tithe, where this character, Tyrith, showed up, who looks like, I guess they are making a very mannish, maybe it is, maybe it was a dude who then, decided he would grow out his hair and put on a little makeup and pretend to be a woman, go into GameStop and demand everybody call him ma'am. That's perhaps what happened here. I don't know the backstory, but it was a short film, and they put this in there just to confirm that it was going on. Now, some influencers later in the year started reporting that they're backing off of it. That was false. I confirmed with primary sources that was not happening, and that they were going to be going forward with this, which is something that, of course, we've seen now. Earlier in the week, we found out that Ashes of the Imperium, The Scouring by Chris Raitt, actually has another female Adeptus Custode in it, and this one is going to be at the first time in the actual novel's lore that this is going to be happening. They're changing things again, and that's, of course, sparking controversy among fans yet. And then we have this game, like I said, Tacticus, and all of its glory. Yay. So they got some pushback, of course, because everybody hates this. Everybody does not want this in their game whatsoever. And so on their little Hobby Hub tab, they put a FAQ up, and here it is. I have a question about Tyrith. Now, notice how they phrase this right away. They ignore the real question, why is there a female Adeptus Custode in the game when this violates Warhammer 40K lore, right? That's the real question people are asking. People are not just saying, oh, I'm interested in this character, which is what they're framing it as, right? So here it is. There have been a handful of questions, mainly asking how she came to be. Look at how they phrase this again. These people, don't respect you whatsoever. They want to pretend like, oh, yeah, people are just excited about this. No, they're not. The answer is we work closely with Games Workshop on our factions and characters with special attention paid to named characters. Look at this. They work with Games Workshop. So Games Workshop wants this in the games and across the games. That's what this means. We do our best to be 100% faithful to Games Workshop's established lore and universe. Oh my gosh, painful. And what is currently considered canon. Note the wordplay, guys. This is all very carefully phrased, and it's very snaky. Very snaky. It's a privilege to be allowed to play in this rich universe that we love. So some characters in our game have their own standalone novels and appearances in other mediums, and Tyrith is one of these. Warhammer Plus subscribers may have seen her in an episode of the Tithes, episode 2, Custodes Don't Ask Twice. We worked with Games Workshop to be sure we were consistent with that story, as well as the usual considerations of how the Custodes play on tabletop and their look and feel. Yeah, their look and feel was men, bro. Sorry about that. This is crazy. And with all these characters, we make our decisions based on what the game needs. Now, this drives me crazy. We make our decisions based on what the game needs. So they wanted to feminize the game. They wanted to push that. They wanted to push the woke agenda. That's what this means. That is the subtext of this, because there's no other reason to include that. You could just put any other... I mean, how many named Adeptus Custodes are there in the lore? If they needed one. There are so many of them out there. There's no reason for them to do this. There was no need for just a random name that they wanted to throw out there. This was intentional. So that what they need is more feminization. That's what they're telling you, right? We want each character to have a role in the game, a game mode, a niche or combo where they're good without being dominant choice everywhere. And we want these different roles spread out between factions so players have the opportunity. Look at how they completely ignore this. And then they put the little smiley face on there. It's a work in constant progress, of course. This is a slap in your face as a gamer. This is telling you are worthless. They don't care about what you think. And, everybody pretty much is good with this. I, Ratatusk on Discord server, am alive in the year 2025. I'm aware there's some feelings about the Adeptus Custodes lore. Here we are. Feelings. You a-hole. Now the expansion of the lore was handled. My gosh. This is, it drives me crazy. It really drives me crazy listening to this. But I was also alive when the Necrons went from being one-dimensional to having lore. Yeah, that's a very different situation, and you know it. Oh my gosh, look at what they're comparing now. They do this. They love to compare things that just are not comparisons, right? It's unbelievable. We've been through bigger changes to this beloved and shared universe. That's all I'm saying. Also, not worth noting, I'm a Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate nerd, so I've personally had strong feelings about lore changes, Winky. Sure you have. Okay, I see you, okay? We are all tacticians at the end of the day. We hope you like Tyrith once you've seen her in action. Okay, again, there was no reason to put this in there. I mean, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, is Games Workshop forcing you to put this in here? And then this is your kind of like smiley, passive-aggressive way of dealing with a lot of complaints? Because it's very passive-aggressive. It is very much anti-gamer as it is. And of course, the woke are cheering about this. Some dev notes. This right here is an A+ on how to be a classy dev, regardless of how you feel about her inclusion. Huge props. Yeah, if the woke are happy about this, they're very happy. Now, this person says that Games Workshop backed down on the femstodes, not actually a change. This is not true. And this is, again, the woke activists clearly didn't. They never did to begin with. You got caught up in crazy conspiracies. If you knew how Games Workshop operates, this never would have been a surprise. No, they didn't back down on it. They are continuing with it. And the next things that's coming, guys, is the Femstones models miniatures. That's going to be a year or two out. is what I'm going to guess. A year or two out is going to be my prediction for when you're getting Femstone's actual models for the miniatures game, because they're putting it into everything now. They are just littering it in everywhere. They're getting everybody used to it, and then they're going to drop the models. That's what's going to happen here. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous double down, but this is what they do. They always double down. They never stop. People who are telling you woke's dying down are not being truthful with you. They are just pushing at full steam ahead and not caring. And my gosh, it's wild. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If you want some real science fiction, that of course is going to have its own internal consistent lore since I wrote all of it, this is a good spot for you to be. I appreciate you being here. Grab this in the description below. Start reading today. Thanks, guys. We'll be back soon.